Welcome to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning for Wednesday, August 13th. I'm your host, Tom Orr. The Texas game in 17 days, the game against Michigan in 108 days. If you're planning your next event, make it unforgettable with Grateful Griddle, Columbus's favorite food truck, serving up smash burgers, gourmet sandwiches, and good vibes. Book your catering today at GratefulGriddleOH.com. Here inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, joined by Tony Gerdeman of BuckeyeHuddle.com. Tony, it is offensive line day. Got a chance to talk to Tyler Bowen and an assortment, a melange, an amuse-bouche of
I don't know that you can use that word for an offensive line group.
No. So of offensive linemen. Got a chance. You were over with Tyler Bowen. Tyler Bowen, I think everyone, has been sort of following, like, hey, the sort of shape of the offensive line battle has been, maybe changing a little bit. According to what I heard from Tyler Bowen, it's too soon to know anything.
Too soon to know anything. Why are you even asking questions?
Yeah.
When asked about the right tackle battle, he said, well, is it Ethan Onian and Philip Daniels? How's that battle going? He's like, well, it's not that linear. I'm like, Isn't Matt Patricia supposed to be like the rocket scientist? Do we really need to get into this? So he likes the depth on the interior, but the right tackle, as we've talked about it, others have talked about it. And with the way Ryan Day talks about the offensive line, it's almost like you have to start ignoring what the coaches are saying and start listening to what they're doing. And that's what we're seeing.
Well, and what they're doing is Austin Seir has gone from playing the right tackle for most of the spring, and we kept hearing, well, he might be moving over to left tackle, and it hadn't happened, and it hadn't happened, and it hadn't really happened. And, he played a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit here and there, but not regularly. And then started over on the right side, again, at the start of fall camp, and then all of a sudden has been exclusively over on the left side. So that to me feels like one of those, don't tell me what you think, show me what you think, and they're showing you what they think right there.
Yeah, and when Ryan Day says he's primarily there, and he's talking, but then even when we talk to Austin Seir, he's like, I don't know where I'll be tomorrow. It's like a vagabond, like a hobo. I'll go wherever the rails take me, and whatever happens.
Just me, my bindle, in the left tackle position.
So he's clearly what position do you like best? Wherever they'll play me, but again, that's been his entire career, and we can talk about that later. So this whole primary, secondary thing has led to not just a fluid situation, but a fluid offensive line. And as Bruce Lee said, be like water. And these offensive linemen are being like water.
They are being like water, yes, and they are sweating a lot, which we saw. That is a way to be sort of like water. I mean, Austin Seir is such an interesting story because he's someone who came in and was not the most highly touted prospect. He did not come in with the five-star hype, and he was not the next Paris Johnson. He was just, here's a guy from Southwest Ohio, and I guess we'll see what he is in a couple of years. And then he just keeps checking all these boxes that are like markers for great success in your future. Iron Buckeye in the winter, Iron Buckeye in the summer, which, that is not like 37 guys get this. It's like 3 to 5 guys get this. And he was one of those 3 to 5, I guess 6 maybe guys over the summer. He's someone who feels like, we did a show on the Buckeye Weekly show with, guys who were stock up, arrow up kind of guys. He feels like he is one of the most arrow up people on this whole team.
Yeah, first when you ask his teammates about him, they'll say, Piggy's doing well. And so then, ask Austin, like,
does he have the conch?
where does the Piggy come from? He's like, it's a gamer tag. His gamer tag was like Pig. And then once Justin Fry found out about it, he's like, oh, you're Piggy now. Like, basically called him out in a team meeting or whatever, however that was. But he talked about, he attributed the growth from last year to this year to, being able to play left tackle to just gaining the confidence. And so then I asked him this time last year, being put into every single position imaginable because of the illness, how much did that help your confidence? It's like, yeah, that was the basis for it. And now you're at left tackle, tomorrow you're at right tackle, we need you at guard today. And when you're able to do well, that gives you the confidence to know, okay, I'm able to do this. So then you start playing with confidence, you're playing better. And to do that at such a young age, as a redshirt freshman last year, which is still very impressive. And now he's taken that through, and he's confident wherever they put him. And that's why back in the spring, Ryan Day's like, I don't know who our starting five is. I know Austin Seirveld will be there.
Yeah, and he certainly, nothing has changed there. He is part of that starting five. The location, the specific location has maybe moved around a little bit, but still very much in that starting five. Someone else whose confidence has just seemingly gone through the roof is Philip Daniels. Philip Daniels in the spring was a little bit quiet, maybe a little bit, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but just kind of like still sort of figuring it out, and was not super gregarious maybe when we get a chance to talk to him in the spring. That has changed. Philip Daniels has found his voice. Philip Daniels has found his place. Philip Daniels twice talked about killing people. I mean, not literally committing murder, but in terms of like his job on the field is to kill people. To really, his job is physical violence. That is part of the role. That is something that he embraces. People have talked, a bunch of people have used the phrase mean streak with him, and that's something he embraces. And he just, he was very good-natured. He had some, a few eyebrow-raising things to say, but boy, he seems like a different person than he was when we talked to him in the spring.
Yeah, and even in the spring, wasn't one of the first practices he got into it with somebody?
Oh, yeah.
So it's that.
There were a couple times that he got into kind of pushing, shoving, fight kind of stuff, yeah.
But now he's coming out of his shell. He did attribute some of his confidence to the bowl practices where Jack Sawyer's like, you're going to be good. You know?
Yeah.
So that was just more proof that he could play here. And then, of course, yeah, he's definitely showing up now. And he was asked about his tenacity and stuff like that. And he's like, basically, people don't like to get beat on, and then they start reacting. And then I think he was asked, are you being, are you motivated or pushed by Ethan Onian in that battle? He's like, I'm motivated to help the team. And that's where his focus is right now. He also said that I'm here to prove myself, and then ... and keep killing. So,
I'm all out of proving myself.
So, just that's the kind of guy, that's the kind of attitude you like on the offensive line until the second personal foul penalty in a game.
Right, exactly. That's one of those things where it's like I think back to Iowa quarterback Drew Tate, where when they were winning, it was fiery, and when they were losing, he was a jerk. It's a fine line there. If you are blowing people off the ball, great, you're fiery, you're a winner, you're intense. Make sure you're not the one getting blown off the ball, but it sure seems like things are trending in a direction where he is going in the right direction and the guy across the line is going in the wrong direction. He did talk about some of the guys in order. This is one of these things where it's always interesting when they're talking about guys who they go up against in practice and who they really are challenged but going up against in practice, the order in which guys get named. Caden Curry was the first one. Called out his tenacity. It feels like you got him, and that doesn't mean you've actually got him. This play's not over. Talked about Kenyatta Jackson being essentially, he felt it was like a mirror image of himself. Just I think in terms of big and strong and physical and all that kind of stuff. He also talked about C.J. Hicks. Tony, what did he say about C.J. Hicks?
Said they've been battling a lot, and he called him a mini Abdul Carter. So that's
Ohio State would take that.
A decent praise. Mini, yes, certainly. And that's what they're looking for from C.J. Hicks, and he's still learning the position. But, yeah, I'm with you. When the guy starts throwing the names out, he did mention, Caden Curry's high motor. Once you think you've got him, he throws something else at you. So that's something that the width and breadth of the defensive ends that Philip Daniels has been going against has also made him a much better player. And I don't know if you want to talk about his time at Minnesota and what he learned there as opposed to his time here and what he's learning now.
The floor is yours. And bear in mind, Minnesota is on the schedule this year.
But he just said here at Ohio State, it's professional. And you're seeing more pass rushers. He mentioned at Minnesota, we had one good guy, but everybody else basically just run stoppers. They'd rush the passer and then, play contain or whatever. So it's just a much different test here at Ohio State, and he continues to pass it.
And Ethan Onian also having some of his own tests. This is his first time where he's been tested at guard. He said he's not played guard before. Talked about being in a 3-point stance for every snap, not because sometimes as a guard you're not necessarily down in a 3-point stance. So he talked about that. Not really worried about left side versus right side. He'll he's much like you hear from a lot of guys. He'll play wherever they want him to. He said he is down from 365 to 330, his weight. He said he feels a lot better because of the weight loss. He says his knees don't hurt. He has more flexibility. So
I don't feel 40 years old anymore.
yeah, couldn't be me. So that was him, and that's still very much sort of a little bit of a, which one of them is going to be the starting right tackle, which one of them is going to be the starting right guard. Is Tager Shabola in there? That's still, they're sort of working through this, but Philip Daniels is another guy who I would definitely have in the big arrow up list for the Ohio State offense.
Yeah, for sure. And the attitude, the athleticism, and the tenacity, all of it is boding well for them.
For sure. Let's talk real quick about Carson Hinsman. Were you over there for Carson Hinsman?
A little bit, yep.
Okay, my favorite line from Carson Hinsman was that he was asked about going up against Hero Kanu, the former Ohio State defensive tackle who is now transferred to Texas. And he said he was looking up trash talk in German, because Hero Kanu is German, so he feels like he may be able to trash talk him in German and not get called for a penalty. So I thought that's some really, really, I don't know if he's an international relations major, but that's some great diplomacy there.
I think what Carson Hinsman needs to do before that is, before the game, walk up to each ref and "So sprechen Sie Deutsch" or whatever. Do you speak German? And if they're like, "What? I don't know what you're talking about," then you know.
Good.
But if the one guy's like, "Da" or "ya" or whatever, then you're like, okay, I gotta.
He's not Russian.
I gotta stay away from this guy.
Yet.
But I don't know any Russian insults, but Carson mentioned learning a bunch from Charles Bentley in the offseason, and all of the coaches here. Just a much different player than he was as a redshirt freshman center, where I think he said you're hoping. On a lot of these snaps, you're hoping, whereas now he has got a feel for the defensive coordinators. He knows all the protections. He knows everything he needs to know and has a feeling for how things are going to go as well, whereas the only thing you're feeling as a redshirt freshman center is nerves and vomit, I guess.
Yeah, he's had such a weird path. It has not been a linear one for him to where he is right now by any means, where he got on the field a year earlier than expected because Luke Whippler left a year earlier than expected, and was kind of had an up and down first year, and then lost the job before the bowl game, and then was kind of MIA for the first half of last year. And then when Seth McLaughlin blew out his Achilles, all of a sudden, congratulations, you're the starting center, good luck out there. And then they win the national championship. So now he's the veteran guy coming back, and so sort of a weird path, but you get, he's another guy where you get the sense they look at him. The interior of the line, like the tackle, there's plenty of questions, and there's some question about whether Onian was going to play tackle or guard, or is he a starter guard or whatever. But interior of the offensive line, that was another thing that Tyler Bowen didn't really want to talk about. But those two guard positions in the center, it's like, well, certainly you feel comfortable with those, right? I mean, and that was another one where we're kind of like, well,
we've got depth.
Yeah,
and there's some linearness.
Lineality?
Sure.
That's definitely not a word. Linoleum.
There's some linoleum lineage. There's some movement available on the interior where you're talking about Ethan Onianwa and Tager Shabola possibly battling at guard there. So we'll see how that shakes out. So I guess we can believe them when they say they don't necessarily know who the five is, because there's still some moving parts. But he also did say it's time to start honing on what that starting five is going to be and where they're going to be, and that needs to get going. They need to have that locked in on Sunday.
Yeah, right. That you're getting to the point where now next week is the week before game week, and then you got game week, and you really want to kind of have your guys together, because we talk about this all the time, the importance of the starting five sort of gelling together and getting to play next to each other and all that kind of stuff. So anything else in terms of Ian Moore or Luke Montgomery?
Well, Tyler Bowen did say that Ian Moore just needs to continue to get stronger at play strength with his play strength. I did ask Austin Seir, if you needed to, how long would it take you to be able to play center? And he said, 1 day. Then I asked Joshua Padilla, backup center, hey, Austin Seir said it would only take him a day to be able to play center. Is that disrespectful to centers? And Josh Padilla's like, he asked me how to play center. And I'm like, you got to do this. It's like, there's just no way. Like he totally dismissed the whole one-day aspect of it. But that's Austin Seierveld.
That is Austin Seierveld. So, all right, that is Austin Seierveld, and that is the offensive line. So that's where things stand right now for the Buckeyes up front. As we said, just over 2 weeks to that Texas game. I was just over at Ohio Stadium earlier in the morning, shooting a little video in there for a piece that I did, just sort of walking around campus in the interim between summer semester and fall semester. This is like the deadest campus ever is, but it was also a beautiful day. So got a bunch of video around campus. You can go find that on our YouTube channel if you want to just kind of get a little nostalgic for Mirror Lake and the Oval and all that kind of fun stuff. But we will have plenty more coming up in the next couple of weeks as we count down to that Texas game. There's going to be a lot to talk about on offense, on defense, on special teams, number 1 versus number 2, or number 1 versus number 3, depending on who you ask. Going to be one of the games of the year, and it is happening to start the year, and we will be there with our whole team from BuckeyeHuddle.com. Tony, Kevin, and I cover the team. We got our recruiting coverage, we got our X's and O's coverage, we got our fantastic community, the Huddle Board presented by Jeff Ruby's Columbus. That is all at BuckeyeHuddle.com. We hope to see you there. That will do it for today. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.